Let me just change this to love you. Okay. Hello and welcome back to another video on covering tricky interview question. So the task is to replace consonant with the next immediate consonant alphabetically in a string. Okay. So let's say you have been given a string which contains lowercase English alphabets, and the task is to replace each consonant with the next immediate consonant that comes in English alphabet. Okay, let's say we have to replace character D. So the next immediate consonant would be F, right? Because E is a vowel, hence we will be replacing D by F. Okay, so without wasting further more time, let's get right into the video. So I've already created an expression rule which is going to find the next immediate consonant for me. Let's say the character is F. I want this rule to return G, which is going to be the next immediate consonant. But if G is a vowel, then I want this rule to find the second immediate consonant, which is going to be H in this case, right? I'm going to now define a parameter which is going to accept only one string element at a time. And if the string element is a consonant, then check the next immediate alphabet of this element. Okay, I have accidentally marked this rule input as array, which doesn't really have to be one. Now I need to initialize a local variable by specifying an initial value to assign to it, okay, which is going to be ri number. Okay, next I have to define a condition to find the next immediate consonant. Okay, if so, with the help of contains function, I'm going to check whether the next immediate consonant is a vowel or not. Okay, so for that I need to first get the Unicode codes of all the vowels in English alphabets. Okay, so 97 is for A, 101 is for E, 105 is for I, 111 is for O, and 117 is for U. Okay, I have already initialized this local variable, right, by specifying an initial value which is nothing but ri number. Okay, so I need to check whether local number plus 1 is part of this list or not. Okay, whether this array contains local number plus 1. Let's say local number is 98. 98 plus 1 becomes 99. So I need to check whether 99 is part of this or not. If it is a part of this list, then I need to define another condition, if condition, to check whether that particular string element is Z or not. If it is Z, then we have to look circularly in English alphabets for the next consonant, which will be nothing but B, because A is a vowel. So the next immediate consonant would be B, right? If local number, so for Z, the Unicode code is 122. So if it is 122, then just return me 98, which is nothing but the Unicode code of B. Okay, just return me 98, as 97 is the Unicode code for A, so 98 is gonna be for B. Okay, if it is not Z, then we have to call this rule inside of itself and have to increment the number, this number, by 1 and store the same in this rule input. Okay, so I'm gonna call this rule inside of itself. Rule is find next consonant. I can see no parameter because I haven't yet saved my changes. So in order to access this parameter, I have to first save my changes. Okay, and there you go, number. Okay, if it is not Z, then we have to increment this number by 1, right? So local number plus 1. Okay, this part will be executed if the condition evaluates to true. But if the condition becomes false, that means local number plus 1 is not a vowel, right? Then we have to get the next immediate consonant. Let's say if it is 98, that is B, then it is going to be C, right? We have to increment it by 1. So local number plus 1. Cool. Let me just format the code. And here, let's say the number is 1110. which is nothing but the Unicode code of character n. Okay, so I'm expecting this rule to return 112 because this 110 is for character n, and the next immediate alphabet is going to be O, which is a vowel, right? So here I'm checking if local number plus 1, local number is 110, right? 110 plus 1 is a part of this list. Yes, true. The condition becomes true. It is going to execute this if statement. Okay, now I'm checking if local number is equal to 122, which is false, right? It's not 122. So here the condition becomes false, and it is going to call this rule, okay, where I am just incrementing this local number by 1, which becomes 111 now. 111 is something what we have obtained from this rule. Okay, so this becomes 111. Now it again going to check whether this local number, which is 111 plus 1, here we are incrementing it, which becomes 112, is part of this list. No, 112 is not part of this list. The condition becomes false here, and it is going to execute the else part this time, right? So we are just incrementing local number by 1. Local number is nothing but Ri number. We have initialized this local variable by assigning it the value of Ri number. So Ri number is 111, and the same we are storing in this local number. So local number is 111 plus 1, which becomes 112. Now let me just test this rule out. See, 112, right? If I check for character M, for which the Unicode code is 109, okay, I am expecting this rule to return 110 for me, because that is going to be the next immediate consonant for me. After M, it is going to be N, right? So let me just test this rule out again. There you go, 110. So that's how it is working. I'll now quickly save my changes and created another expression rule to replace consonants. So this rule will iterate over each character in the input string, okay, and replacing consonants as needed. You have to define some parameter. This one is going to hold the result which will be obtained from the recursive call, which is going to be number, integer and array, as this is basically going to hold a list of Unicode codes. Cool. And the second parameter will help me find the index of the given consonant, which I need to keep incrementing until it reaches the end of the string. Okay, now I'm going to save my change, because if I don't do, I won't be able to access these parameter, as I'm going to call this rule inside of itself. Okay, now I have to initialize some of the local variables, like for index, local index, I will be defining a default value, as this is going to be null in the first iteration, right? So here, if it is null, Ri index is null, then just use 1 as its default value. Okay, so for the first iteration, value of Ri index would be 1. Okay, and the same goes for numbers. Local numbers, a bang default value Ri numbers. In the first iteration, it is going to be null. In that case, it has to manipulate this string. Okay, let's say love. Cool. But we need to convert this string into array of characters. And how would we do that? With the help of code function. Okay, we will not be converting this into array of characters. We will be converting it into array of Unicode codes instead. Okay, code. I am just wrapping it inside code function. Okay, now I will be calling this rule inside of itself. I have to call it recursively, right? As replace consonant. Here I have two parameters, numbers and index. In numbers, I have to check whether that particular string element is a vowel or not. If it is a vowel, I'm not going to do anything. I only have to replace the consonant, right? So I'll copy the same from here. This condition contains, okay, if contains 97 A, E, I, O, U, and I have to add one more Unicode code for white space, which is 32. Okay, if there is any white space, I just want this rule to return that particular thingy as it is. Basically, there is no change needed if it is either a vowel or white space. If contains local number, okay, local number and index, let's say it is 1. So to locate that string element, I will make use of local index. Okay, local index is 1. Just get me the number which is sitting at index 1. Okay, so the position of this first string element is 1, right? Local index. So it is gonna check whether this number which is sitting at index 1, okay, which is nothing but L, is part of this or not. If it is part of this, that means it's a vowel, right? And as I said before, I'm not going to touch this if it is a vowel or a white space. Okay, so just return me local numbers. But if L is not part of this list, that means it is neither a vowel nor a white space. Then I have to update that array, right? So with the help of update array function, I will be updating this list. Update takes 3 parameters: data, index and value. Data is going to be local numbers, as this is holding the list of Unicode codes, right? Index is going to be local index. Then comes value. Here we need a value with which we are going to replace that particular consonant, right? As we have already created a rule which takes a code at a time and finds me the next immediate consonant, right? Which is this rule. So here I will be calling this rule. Rule as find next consonant. Here I have one parameter number, and this should be mapped to the number which I am going to replace, right? Which is nothing but L. I will just use local numbers and the position of this number is 1, right? So local index. Cool. This is going to be the next immediate consonant which I will be replacing this string element with. Once this is done, I have to increment the index by 1. Here is a second parameter, right? Local index, because this is the variable where we are storing the index, local index plus 1. Okay, now I also have to terminate this recursive call, and in order to do that I have to define a base condition for this. So if local index is greater than the count of local numbers, okay, then just return me whatever has been obtained from this recursive call, and the same is being stored in this local numbers, right? This is where we are storing the result of this recursive call. Okay, then just return me local numbers. Okay, else if the condition is not true, then just call this rule recursively. Okay, that is done. Now this local number is going to return me a list of Unicode codes. I have to convert it back to characters, as here I have converted these characters into its Unicode codes. Now I have to convert them back to characters, right? So with the help of char function I will be doing that, and then I will wrap it inside join array function to concat the elements, as it is going to return me a list of characters, right? Okay, now let's save our changes, but before saving our changes there is a recommendation. Let's check that out first. Testing failing to complicate. Line number 10, line number 10, local numbers. Okay, this should be local numbers, my bad, that's gone. Okay, now let's save our changes and try to test this rule out. Test rule. Okay, so the input string is love. L has been replaced with M, which is correct. M is the next immediate consonant after L. Okay, then comes O. O remains as it is a vowel. Then comes W. V. After V, U, V, W. W is the next immediate consonant after V, which is correct. And then E. E remains as it is a vowel again, which is working as expected. Now let me just change this to love you. Okay. Now let's test this rule out again. Okay, this is correct, MOWE. The Y of U has been replaced with Z, which is correct. O remains as it is, which is again a vowel, and U remains as it is, which is a vowel again. Okay. Now let me just change this U to Z. Let's see if this replaces Z with B or not. Okay, as when the character is Z, then we have to look circularly in English alphabets, right, for the next consonant. So if it is Z, then next immediate consonant would be B, as A is a vowel. Okay, let's try test rule. Instead of replacing Z with B, it has replaced Z with this curly braces. I think we have to amend the logic here. This is the rule which is returning that curly braces instead of B. Okay, so if I just pass 122 over here, which is the Unicode code of character Z, let's see what it returns. Okay, it's returning me 123, which is the Unicode code of that curly brace. Okay, so this is wrong. We have to amend the logic over here. So I think I should be checking first whether the string element is Z or not. If it is Z, then just return me 98. I'll just cut this and paste this in here. Okay, if this is Z, then just return me 98, and if it is not Z, then execute this if condition and check whether local number plus 1 is part of this or not. If it is part of this, that means the next immediate consonant is still a vowel. It has to increment that local number by 1. Okay, and if the condition becomes false, that means the next immediate consonant is not a vowel. It again has to increment that number by 1. Okay, we are missing the right parenthesis, I believe. There you go. Let me just format the code, check what it returns for 122, which is Z. Okay, 98. It is returning 98, which is correct. Now if I check for 110, which is the Unicode code of N, it has to return 112, as O is a vowel, and the next immediate consonant would be P, right? 112, which is correct. And for 109 is the Unicode code of character M. It has to return 110, correct. And now if I check for 110, which is the Unicode code of character N, okay, local number is not equals to 122, false. It is going to execute this if statement. Here I am checking whether this local number plus 1, local number is 110, 10 plus 1, 111, is part of this list. 111, yes, it is part of this list, right? It is going to call this rule to find the next immediate consonant, right? So here I am just incrementing the local number by 1. Local number is 110, plus 1 becomes 111. So 111 has been obtained from this rule, okay, and the same is being stored in this RI number. So this becomes 111, right? Now I have to come out of this, and it is going to again check whether local number is equal to 122, which is false. It is going to execute this if statement again and going to check whether local number, which is 111 now, 111 plus 1 becomes 112, is part of this. False, right? That means it's not a vowel. The condition becomes false here. Now it is going to execute this else part. So we are again incrementing it by 1, as this is a vowel, right? So we have to again increment it by 1 in order to find the second immediate consonant. Local number is 111 plus 1 becomes 112, and that's why it is returning 112. Okay, so that's how it is working. Now let me quickly save my changes, and I'm going to test this again. Okay, test rule. So this time it is returning me the correct output. It has replaced this Z with B. Okay. So that's pretty much for the day. If you want more such videos, please like my video, share it as much as you can, and yes, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in my next video. Cheers. Bye bye.